Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. As you can see, Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Parliament was on fire today.
Who on earth is going to protect us from this monster, Mr. Speaker? Who's going to protect us? Because the government looks like it's unable to take an action against him. Mr. Speaker, if this government was formed by ODM, this man would have been in jail by now, I can assure you. NCIC has summoned that suspect, Mr. Speaker. They have told him to appear so that he can answer to the allegations of inciting people against each other. He has refused to appear. Mr. Speaker, he's now trying to use human shield. He's trying to use people to commit crime, offenses that can take people to hate, to defend himself, Mr. Speaker. If he's invited by the DCI to record a statement, he refuses. If he's invited by NCIC, he refuses. If he's invited by EACC, now who's going to protect us from this monster, Mr. Speaker, called Rigathi Gachagua? Who on earth is going to protect us from this monster, Mr. Speaker? Who's going to protect us? Because the government looks like it's unable to take an action against him. Mr. Speaker, if this government was formed by ODM, this man would have been in jail by now, I can assure you.
Members of Parliament suspended the agendas, the activities, and the business of the day to discuss one man, Rigathi Gachagua. Why do you think members of Parliament decided to make Rigathi Gachagua their agenda today?
And if we do not arrest this matter, as Swahili people say, usipojenga ufa, usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta, Mr. Speaker. If we do not arrest this matter as early as now, Mr. Speaker, this is a man who has lost his head, this is a man who has lost his soul, and he wants to take this country to the precipice so that people can fight, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take pride because I did not know I was impeaching initially a man of this type. I never thought I impeached him based on gross violation of the Constitution and other things. But now I've realized, Mr. Speaker, madness, mental problem is not walking naked in the street. You could be dressed in your suit, Mr. Speaker, with a tie, but you're a madman, Mr. Speaker. That's what I've come to realize of late, Mr. Speaker. Because a leader of that type, a leader who wants to lead a political party in this country, cannot say, now what's happening, Mr. Speaker, he is almost making a region of this country look like an alien in this country. Very soon he wants to fence it off like the Aberdare forest.
Why do you think members decided to suspend all business in the house to discuss Rigathi Gachagua, a man they impeached just a few months ago? To answer that, we need to understand that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence, and that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objectives. The question then is, what was the objective of Parliament suspending its activities to discuss Rigathi Gachagua? That's exactly what I want to reveal to you guys in this video. But Rigathi Gachagua made some post on his Facebook page before Parliament began discussing him in Parliament. Let me read for you what Rigathi Gachagua posted, because probably he got wind of what was going to happen. It is all out there, and there's absolutely no place to hide state terror against innocent leaders and Kenyans. The cornered William Ruto has ordered his praise and worship teams in the National Assembly and the Senate to table the motion this afternoon to try blame Rigathi Gachagua for atrocities against the people of Kenya. You can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Kenyans are not gullible. In short, Rigathi Gachagua is suggesting in this post that William Ruto convened or instructed Parliament and the Senate, the National Assembly and the Senate, to discuss his matter with a view of apportioning blame over what he terms atrocities. Ladies and gentlemen, just like I keep on telling you that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. There must be an objectives which was supposed to be achieved through the events in Parliament today. Before we get into all those, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two. Click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. Why do you think William Ruto instructed members of parliament to suspend all the activities in the evening to discuss Rigathi Gachagua, a man they already discussed and impeached? Number one, I'm 100% sure that the ground is being laid to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. And the main intention of whatever happened in parliament are supposed to serve two objectives. Number one, to gauge the reaction, especially from the mountain. Members of parliament discussing Rigathi, discussing his arrest publicly, and then the NIS will be able to gauge the ground. And importantly, arresting Rigathi Gachagua is also supposed to send a strong message. But why use parliament? It simply means that as far as everybody is concerned, if Rigathi Gachagua were to be arrested today, the person who would be blamed would be who? William Samoei Arap Ruto. And for us to understand that one of the objectives is to lay the ground for the arrest, I want you to listen to Boss Sholei, because Sholei has been on record that when William Ruto instructs her to do this, she does exactly that.
We are discussing as if it's just bare facts. What we are discussing is crimes that have been committed by the former deputy president. His crime are offenses that are set out in the National Cohesion and Integration Commission Act. And we even have past history where people have made utterances that were assumed to have been wrong and they were not even guilty, yet they were arrested. So my issue here is, I'm also calling upon the chairperson of NCIC, Reverend Kobia. Reverend Kobia must act and not allow people to get over it. Because if we remember, prior to the 2022 elections, I remember 300 police officers were sent to Uasin Gishu County to arrest Honorable Oscar Sudi for making remarks that were not even hitting to the threshold of the National Commission and Integration Act. It was the same Reverend Kobia. We expect him to act. Similarly, we remember that Honorable Linturi again made some remarks, and he was picked at night. Yes, he mentioned that word in Uasin Gishu, and he was picked swiftly by the police and ferried to Nairobi at night for arrest. The same thing happened to Oscar Sudi. Why is it that the former deputy president has not been arrested? In fact, this House must hold the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to account, because they cannot have double standards when it comes to deal with people.
The majority whip in the National Assembly, Osoro, also had this to say.
It's about time we call out the NCIC, we call out the National Police Service, we call out the IG for selectively, for being selective on matters, law, Honorable Speaker. Because it's about time Wamunyoro be arrested. The Honorable Gachagua should be behind bars for the statements that he made. If those statements, Honorable Speaker, were made in the previous regime, perhaps somebody would be running up and down, Honorable Speaker, with a battalion of lawyers. I think we are too tolerant. I believe even the independent bodies in the Constitution are becoming too tolerant, and they are going to affect this country. I mean, that you are being summoned by a body, a constitutional body, then you refer them through a lawyer, then and tell them, I can't attend, you are this and this. And then when you get arrested, you say it's political persecution. The Rigathi Gachagua should be a state guest, Honorable Speaker, latest this weekend.
Not left out is the majority leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah.
We must, in one accord as a House, not just condemn, but ask the government of the Republic of Kenya, and more so the Inspector General of Police. I know he hails from Madeira also. But he must apply the law without fear or favor, Honorable Speaker. I saw in the news last night, Honorable Speaker, them saying that the lawyer has written to NCIC. NCIC did not summon a lawyer. They summoned a person who is not above the law. And the law must take its due course. And I want to encourage the NCIC Commission to get the help of the Inspector General of Police to enforce the law as it is. When you are summoned by NCIC, a constitutional commission, to answer to charges leveled against you, you must appear. And if you don't appear, Honorable Speaker, action must be taken. Otherwise, if we take that route, Honorable Speaker, what will stop anybody tomorrow from inciting Kenyans on the basis of ethnicity or whatever you like to kill and slaughter each other, Honorable Speaker, with abandon?
From those speeches coming from key allies of the president, these are the people the president consults when it comes to parliamentary issues or matters. The ground is being laid to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. It will depend on the feedback they will get. So that's number one. Number two, and I want to ask Kenyans to be very careful. I'm looking at this as part of a wider strategy by the government and parliament to divert the attention of the country from focusing on the most important thing in the country today, the finance bill. We are being just subjected to drama. Yesterday, there was the abduction of Juja, member of parliament. Today, we are being subjected to this drama about Rigathi Gachagua in parliament. Because for me, why should parliament discuss Rigathi Gachagua when they've already impeached him? And we are also talking at a time when the government has denied Rigathi Gachagua and his party the venue which they intended to use to launch their party. So it means someone is out to try and divert the attention of Kenyans. So if Kenyans will not be discussing Rigathi Gachagua in parliament, they'll be discussing Koimburi. If they'll not be discussing Koimburi, they'll be discussing Rigathi Gachagua's party launch, which they have been denied the venue. Kenyans, be alert. In fact, I'm convinced this is the main reason. Because I'm also gathering, I'm yet to confirm, that the finance bill today passed the first reading. It passed first reading. While Kenyans were busy looking for stories about Rigathi, parliament, blah, blah, members of parliament passed first reading. So it could be a strategy. Number three, I think William Ruto has been cornered, just like the way Rigathi Gachagua is saying. And he wants to do certain things to Rigathi. One of them is arrest. But he doesn't want to be seen to be the guy pushing for that arrest. So he's trying to use parliament because for him, I think the National Integration and Cohesion Commission has actually failed, in my view. Kobe has failed to arrest Rigathi. That is the intention. If you listen to Sholei, she's actually piling pressure on Kobe to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. So if Rigathi were to be arrested today, the reason would be because of the Integration Commission. For me, that's a strategy of exonerating himself. Ladies and gentlemen, before I give you the fourth reason, which is very, very important, allow me to also take this opportunity to introduce you guys to Kile Kitabu. Kile Kitabu is a digital debt tracker designed for small businesses. I know most of us are in businesses, and in most cases, because of the state of economy, we extend credit facilities. How do we keep track of those we've offered credit facilities to? We note on a book. In most cases, we lose track. So Kile Kitabu is coming with a solution for you. So just go to Play Store, download the app, install on your phone, and you are good to go. In fact, you'll thank me later. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also looking at it as part of William Ruto's strategy of now trying to remove Rigathi Gachagua from the ground. Because remember, when Rigathi Gachagua was impeached in parliament, what did he do? Rigathi Gachagua went to the ground. And what happened on the ground? Rigathi Gachagua went to the ground, consolidated, he made the ground hostile for William Ruto's allies. Now, how do you now remove Rigathi Gachagua from the ground? Two things. Parliament. Drag him back to parliament. Two, court. Arrest. I'm also expecting EACC to start tracking him. Then, Rigathi will be busy with these cases. But the Rigathi Gachagua I know will not give in. In fact, I was telling someone, not telling someone really, I did a video on this platform that William Ruto is playing into the hands or the traps laid by Rigathi Gachagua. Let me ask you, was it necessary for members of parliament to make Rigathi Gachagua a subject today evening? If they had not made Rigathi Gachagua a subject, even me on this platform today, probably I would not have done this video. The media stations would not have captured whatever happened. So they are playing in Rigathi Gachagua's hands. And lastly, I'm also starting to look at it from a different perspective. That an elaborate strategy is being laid to prevent Rigathi Gachagua from running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in 2027. I'm looking at it from that. And they'll use chapter 6 on integrity of our constitution. So how do they use it? Rigathi Gachagua must go through the Integration Commission, Cohesion and Integration Commission, then EACC, then at least when it comes to that time of clearance, one of those bodies will not clear. What will he do? He will not run. He will make noise, he will not run. Because I think they've realized that based on game of numbers and based on the way Rigathi Gachagua has played his politics, Kenyans are with him. And in fact, the biggest fear is, if for example Rigathi Gachagua were to decide, I'm not running, but in the scheme of things, I'll be something. What will stop them? So they have to stop Rigathi right now. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee McQueen. Bye-bye.